Jennifer Stone, who played Harper Frankel on Wizards of Waverly Place. How are you today?
I'm good. You know you don't have to introduce me every single podcast.
You know what? I had a lot of coffee so far.
I think I hear a ringing of some kind. Do you hear
what is
ringing?
that? Someone's on the phone. Hello? Oh my goodness! Josh Sussman, everybody.
Hi, Josh.
Hello.
How are you?
Wow, you're coming in hot. Where are you right now? You're in New Jersey, right?
Yeah, I'm in my childhood bedroom.
Oh my
Are
God.
you really?
And I
no
can
wonder
see,
it looks so epic.
So people who can't hear, he's got a nice big teddy bear. He's got a Back to the Future. You have all three Back to the Future posters, yeah? And Terminator.
Oh,
What is the all black? Oh, who's the sexy lady? Who's that? Nice.
Heidi Klum.
Oh,
Good choice.
My goodness.
Good choice.
Excellent job on posters and the wallpaper. No, but I love that they're still up.
The dog, you like the dog borders?
Yes, adorable.
I've never heard someone compliment someone's great job on the posters.
Posters and wallpaper. Wallpaper is tough.
Good. Wallpaper
to
is
put
tough.
up. Hey, Josh, thank you so much for being with us today. We're excited to have you. And I'm going to just jump in with the first question that I'm dying to know. What was your audition like for the show?
I was going to ask that question too.
Oh, okay. So my audition was for this character named Hugh Mungus. And you're like, wait a minute, because there was no Hugh Mungus on the show, but I'll get to that. At first I get an email from my manager for this Disney Channel show, Wizards of Waverly Place. The show's never aired.
Because we shot the whole first season. We shot 22 episodes before it was on. Yeah.
Right. So I think this was for episodes 13 and 14. It was just supposed to be 2 episodes. And the breakdown said age 13 to 15. And I'm a 23-year-old. So I'm thinking, why am I getting this?
Yeah,
There's
leave me alone.
No way. But then I know sometimes like on the 90210s or other things where people much older. So I look up the show. It's on IMDb. I look up this Selena Gomez, who I never heard of, who's the star. She's 14 years old.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, there's no way I'm going to get this. But so I tell my manager, and he says, well, if it's 13 to 15, just think of the 15-year-old part. Play up to the 15.
That's good manager advice.
Right, exactly.
So I go in for my first audition, which was, I think, for Robert McGee. And I felt good. Some auditions you get the day before, and you have all these pages. This one, I had maybe like a week before. So I was so familiar with it. And I felt, I knew it. I was memorized. I didn't have to look down at my paper. But it was no laughter, no indication I made good choices. So I left. And
feeling miserable.
My manager, I don't think this is going to go forward. No positive feedback whatsoever. But then, a few days later, I'm told that the producers, Peter Murrieta and creator Todd J. Greenwald, want to meet me. So it's like, okay,
wait,
I'll do it.
They didn't just give you the part; they wanted to have a conversation with you and meet you.
Well, producer callback, I guess. So the first one, so that's common.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I thought you had already auditioned for the producers. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to keep up.
Not everyone gets offered everything.
And Robert and Ruth were the casting directors of the show the whole time. Okay, go on.
Yeah. So I have a callback. So it's a producer callback. But then, and when I'm in the waiting room and you see other people that you recognize, and there was a kid there who was very famous from Disney Channel.
I really want to know who it is.
Who is it?
Yeah, I don't know if it's appropriate for me to say.
No, say it. Come on.
No, see, I'm like, you don't have to say.
He was going up for the same part. That's what happens when actors go.
Didn't get it.
Tell us, Josh.
No, you don't have to tell us,
Well,
Josh.
before that, let's discuss what are the ethics. So if it's never come out, do they want to know that expose that they...
Eric Stoltz did three weeks on the movie Back to the Future and then got replaced. People get replaced. I've been replaced. I've replaced. Just tell us, Josh. Come on.
Oh, okay, you talked me into it. I hope I'm not going to regret that.
I'm going to guess. It's Mitchell Musso.
No, because he was on a show at the time.
Even Stevens, Beans.
Oh,
Stephen Anthony Lawrence.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, that makes sense. No, I would have been like...
And so he's been in movies, and the parts were a tiny giant, and he's pretty short.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, so there's no way I'm going to get this role.
You're so positive and believe in yourself so much, Josh.
Sometimes, I don't know how you feel, Josh, but sometimes I feel like if I go into an audition and I'm like, I'm not going to get this. It gives me the freedom to just enjoy getting to act. And like, there's no pressure of like, there's this job. Right? Do you feel that?
Most of the parts I got are the ones I never thought that I either didn't want or thinking I didn't have a chance, and everyone in the waiting room knew him, and he was at the top of the height of his fame, and like people are coming out, and even people from the studio like, oh my God, Steven, hey, and like he seemed beloved.
That happens when you're auditioning for stuff, and there's other famous people. Or a famous person where they come out and stuff. But this is a really good lesson for new actors to say it's about you doing your thing, you do your job, don't worry about the other people, you know?
Yeah, and so I did my part, and I remember after my audition, Peter Murrieta, and I don't know if he said this to everyone, but he said, that's the best audition I've seen in a long time.
Oh, Peter does not say that to everybody.
Yeah, no.
Okay, yeah, because I believed it, because I felt I did good work.
Sure, that's Josh, you want to hear that.
Stop talking for 1 second.
Oh my God.
You are very talented. You are very funny. You have this very interesting cerebral thing about you that you bring to your characters, which is so great. We love you. We heart you like this.
Okay.
I also love that you're like shut the hell up. I'm going to be really nice to you.
I just wanted you to hear that. We think you're so funny.
No, well, you're exactly what an actor should be, which is there's no one else like you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
So okay, we'll shut up now.
Yeah.
So he said it was the best audition he'd ever seen.
Well, he said it's the best audition he's seen in a while.
Oh, okay.
Because like I've auditioned for him too.
God.
So.
Oh my
right. And it was in a while. It wasn't ever.
Yes.
So
definitely before my last David Deluise audition.
Yeah. Go on.
And it was after that, despite the beams from even Stevens, if this was the best audition, this business is messed up if I don't get this part. Right.
Well, it is.
So now I'm invested.
Yeah.
Now I want it. And I think shortly after, I found out that I booked the role of Hugh Normous, the tiny giant, and I was going to get paid $1,300, which is the AFTRA rate for a guest star for 5 days.
Yeah.
Were you there all 5 days?
Yes.
Okay, because
No.
But what they used to do to pay less was they would hire someone for, someone who should have been there as a guest star. They'd hire them and only pay them for a 3-day thing or a 1-day thing.
Yeah, there was
the stand-ins would do the parts. So that was great that you were there.
Because I distinctly remember, because this is also one of my like fond memories of working with you, is playing Connect 4 with you while rehearsing. And where did that love of Connect 4 come from?
Well, listen, I have to say this. When you came up to me and were like, do you want to play Connect 4? I was like, where's that? Is someone punking me? Like what's happening?
It's like the most welcoming way to meet somebody about being like, hey, you want to play Connect 4? I'm like, I haven't in years. Let's do it.
We played, and I had a great time. I think I lost. Because you're like an expert at that game. And people who don't know who Connect 4 is. Or
who doesn't know what Connect 4 is?
There's one person out there.
Oh my gosh.
It's checkers. You have to get 4 in a row, and it's a stand-up game that Jennifer, don't look at me like that. I'm just explaining.
I thought you were going to explain stuff about the business, not Connect 4.
Have you ever talked to someone and they didn't know what Connect 4 was?
That's very rare.
Okay, but it happened.
Okay, so for the 4 people who don't know what Connect 4 is,
I'm sure they
Google
exist.
it.
Okay,
look it up.
Where did it start? Why that game? Why not Uno? Why not something else? Why Connect 4?
Well, I do those also. I guess I used to do a lot of babysitting, and I worked in an after-school program, and I helped kids with their homework after school, and then after that there was games, and I just discovered I had like a savant ability, or I don't know, I would dream about the chips and where to go, and it just became a fun thing. And I want to just also mention what you were saying. Like I did have 2 episodes of Wizards where they said, just come in for 2 days or just 3 days. So I wasn't always that lucky.
And you did 8 episodes,
but I am lucky that I did get to hang out.
You did 8 episodes total, right?
Correct. But what I am lucky is that I did get to hang out with Jennifer, considering we never had a scene together. And during my first 2 episodes, Wizard School Part 1 and 2, Harper wasn't in those, but because of school, Jen was on set, and it was so fun talking about movies. I recommended movies that she still never watched.
Wait, okay, which ones? Because I may have seen them by now. I know North by Northwest was one of them.
And for people who can't see, he's holding up the DVD of
Hold
North by
on,
Northwest.
because this is something, because I'm a big cinephile, and I love, you know how much I love movies.
Yes, old movies especially.
Old movies like TCM, and Josh would give me so much shit. Nicely.
Nice shit.
Not like I give shit. But like, you would give me so much shit because I hadn't seen North by Northwest, and so I was like, I'm gonna see it. And then literally every episode,
you love Hitchcock.
Yeah, and I love Hitchcock. Like Rear Window is one of my favorite movies. So every episode you would come on and ask me if I'd seen it, and I had to like hang my head in shame because I still hadn't seen it. But I'm happy to say I've seen it at this point.
Okay, good.
I've watched it finally all these years later.
Listen, was it a good recommendation?
Oh, it was a great recommendation.
What is Josh talking about?
You have to be in the mood though to sit down and watch a Hitchcock movie. You have to like really be, at least for me, you have to be ready to jump in there and watch it. By the way, I rewatched your first episode. And when you come out with the tiny little, when you describe, that you're the runt of the litter of your, humongous family, and your parents made you little things so that you felt bigger. It was so funny. It's a funny bit,
hold on. And then I do have a question about that. Was it Humongous or Hugh Normous? I thought it was Hugh Normous.
Oh, okay, yes. So
they changed
auditioned for Humongous. After the first network read, on my dressing room door, it said Humongous, but it was revealed. I guess someone did some Google searches. They wanted friendly Disney names. That's either the name of an adult porn star, or if you search Humongous, you get some naughty images.
Everybody who's listening right now is Googling Humongous.
Fun fact: my Jennifer Stone was like a Ukrainian. Or like some like Eastern European
does that stop you
porn
from
star.
being able to use that name though?
No, but like I felt bad because like right when we were on Wizards, you could Google my name and you would get some very
you know what?
Sorry.
You have to have her on the pod.
No, there's no David DeLuise. Oh yeah, right.
Absolutely not. Never. Oh God.
I'll have to call you with different names because we'll be so confused.
Well, that can't be her real name. There's no way that's her real name.
Right.
I was born with this name. Come on.
Right.
Oh, my question was going to be, did you ever get sick? Because they really like, and you sold it. God bless you. But the gags of all like the tiny stuff and the glasses. Did you ever get sick of that gag?
Yeah,
like,
there was a
over
later
and over
episode
again?
where you had to hold a bed above your head or something. It was a little tiny bed.
Oh, that episode was directed by David DeLuise.
Oh, was it now?
Oh, that's so convenient. You brought that up. Oh
I did direct, I think, 7 episodes of the show. And that was a big part of why I wanted to do it, because I wanted to start directing, which was really fun. How was he as a director?
Well, that was one of my 2-day ones. They didn't call me in to be all 5 days.
So that wasn't my fault.
It was horrible.
No, but you have to know, as a director of a sitcom, there's not a lot of creative stuff that it's a lot of like, blocking is important, and the cameras
making sure
are
we're all
important.
not in one line.
And if you can get a joke here or there out of the thin air, where you like pause, look over before you say the thing, we'll get 2 jokes out of it, that kind of stuff. But there's not a lot of maybe I'm wrong, but
I was thrilled to be. That episode was so fun, and I met Fred Stoller on that episode and became friends with.
And Fred was the manager / elevator operator of the magical 13th floor.
Because wasn't that the one where like Selena and I like move in with each other?
Yes, exactly. And I wanted to ask you this, and this is what's so interesting to me. Now, you've been on Glee, you've done a lot of other shows that were not that were already on air. So when you worked on Wizards, you didn't know any of the people, right? So when did it hit, and when did people start going, "Oh my God, you're Hugh Normous"?
As soon as it started airing, after my first 2 episodes aired, to this day, there's 3 things that I'll get known for the most. And it's Drake and Josh, Wizards of Waverly Place, and Glee. Mm-hmm. And 9 times out of 10, it's one of those things. And it usually is Wizards. And it's and I guess I stick out because my hair. I have a big afro for those who are just listening. I don't know if there's a video component to the podcast.
Yes, there is. There is. We see you, Josh.
Okay. So but after it aired, and I also watched it when it started airing from the first episode, and I was like, this show is really good. And I know they had some of the same writers as Friends, and it wasn't like your typical or what maybe you'd expect from a Disney Channel show. The writing was amazing, the acting was great, and it was fun to be on, and the food was good too. And
free food is the best. People always say, "What's your favorite thing about Hollywood?" And I say, "The free food." I used to go to craft service because they throw away a lot of stuff.
It's true.
But, I had 2 young daughters, and that's what I would do to make lunch. I would take all the free food and bring it home, and that's where their lunches and some of their dinners came from. Not wasting is important.
No, it is. Yeah. It is.
Free food's important.
Can I tell you what else I remember from my first episode? And I want to know how often this happened. Do you remember the character Jerko Phoenix?
Yeah.
He was the great 12-ball player.
Right, who was a bad guy. He was the bad guy, right?
So there was a different actor for the first 3 days.
Oh, wow.
And me and him, we got along because we were the guest stars, guests on this show. But after the network run-through, he was gone the next day, which... as an actor, was like, oh, wait, what?
It's really terrifying for sure.
Could this happen? Could you? And I found out the reason is because, and this wasn't smart of him, because we're all supposed to be playing young people. Mm-hmm. He showed up to the network. He didn't shave. He had like his beard and or a sleeveless shirt with all his tattoos exposed.
Yeah.
Where I'm thinking, wait, I'm 23. I don't want to get caught being 23. I'm going to shave real close.
Yeah.
I'm going to moisturize. I'm putting my serum on. I'm going to look like a youth.
Yes, exactly. I did it, but just so you know, I did the same thing. I didn't look.
I'm on 15, a children's show. I gotta.
But listen, they say, or at least I've said to my friends, do you know when you have a TV show? Not when you get the part, not when you do the pilot, not when you do the first season. When you're in like season 5, that's when you know you got the part.
See, for me, when it comes out on DVD and I've done the commentary, that's when I'm like, cool, I'm not going to get fired. Well, have either of you ever been fired from a job?
I actually replaced someone on a show that I did with Peter Marietta called Jesse, which was on after Friends with Christina Applegate. I replaced someone, Rafer Waggle, I think was his name.
That was his real name?
I think so.
Say that one more time.
Rafer, I know was his name. And then
Rafer's cool, but Rafer Waggle is
I got
crazy.
fired from the second season, right? They changed the show up. Mm-hmm. And then me and him did Selma Blair's show, Zoe Duncan, Jack, and Black, or whatever it was. Zoe. You remember that show?
No, I don't remember that show. But
so I got...
That's really crazy.
I replaced someone, and then I got fired, and I've been replaced. I was on a show called Townies with Molly Ringwald, Jenna Elfman, Ron Livingston, Lauren Graham.
Yeah.
And then I got replaced by, what's his name? He's a really famous stand-up comic who's like red hair.
Wait, hold on. That's going to bug me. What is
Bill Burr, exactly.
There it is.
Bill Burr
from the Either.
I have to say, it was hard and it felt bad.
But that's a totally different kind of comedy.
But the fact that Bill Burr became very successful made me feel a little better about being replaced. But I got, okay, I'm going to stop talking in a second. Dave's World was a show that I did. I got a part on it, and I did the table read. I did the first day of rehearsal.
Yeah.
This was the spinoff of Night Court.
No one knows any
judge.
of these shows.
Okay, but somebody might. Anybody out there?
The 4 people who don't know what Connect 4 is know these shows.
But I got paid, which was wonderful. But they said they don't want you to come back. He was a carpenter, and I was only like 22, so I was a little young. So you needed to
not shave and use the serum.
Exactly.
Got it.
But when I told my dad that I got fired, he said, "Oh, welcome to the club."
Yeah,
like it happens to everybody. You just have to accept it.
I still haven't been fired, and I feel like I'm missing something.
Well, it's going to happen.
I know it's going to happen. It happens to everybody, so that's why I'm like, when's it coming for me? You know?
Oh, that's so funny. Hey, do you remember working with Octavia Spencer? Because she was like the bad, or she turned into like a bad witch. She was the one running everything.
Very much so. I don't want to start gossip or I don't look too much into this, but I used to hang out in her dressing room quite a bit, with permission, with consent.
Sure. I would hope so.
I love you, Josh. She was so nice and so sweet.
She was lovely.
And listen, I have to say that I did not, like, I think 2 years later, she won an Academy Award, right?
Yeah, for The Help.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe it was, I don't know if the show was still on. I think it was after the show, but my time
No, it was after for sure. I just don't know exactly.
But I remember like because she had something, she had a show that she was like writing and producing, and she wanted she was talking to Selena about it.
Oh.
This was my first like guest starring role. Like before this, I guess the ranking there's co-star, which is usually like what they call sometimes if you have less than 5 lines, like on the Drake and Josh and other shows I had. So this was a guest spot, and Octavia was like a mentor, and she was telling me about this show. I forget what it was, an ABC that she was on before, and she was just talking about her career and telling me very encouraging things. And it was, so I was seeing her just blow up. I'm always so happy for her and love seeing her on my screen.
Same here, because even when she was on Wizards, she'd been an actor for so long.
Back to you being 23 years old, this is a rewatch podcast, everybody. Wizards of Waverly Place, but I'm watching it again. I loved what you did. I loved what you did, and I'm laughing at myself. Have you watched your episodes recently? Have you seen anything or?
Yeah, I have looked at them, especially in anticipation of this.
Yeah,
and they're really fun. One of my favorites is Harper Knows. Like I feel like there's so much fun stuff in that. That's a season 2 episode.
Yeah.
But I still have never had a scene with Jennifer.
I know. I literally, because I rewatched that one too in prep for you coming on the show, and I was like, well, for sure, like Harper and Hugh have a scene in Harper Knows. They've got to.
And then it
nothing.
Didn't happen.
I'm like, I got gypped. I feel like I got really gypped.
Not cool.
I always thought. I wrote fan fiction where I always thought Hugh Normous and Harper, the H's, but then that Zeke guy came along. And
I know, but our monogram towels would have been epic. They would have been really great.
I in rewatching too, all of the extras in the back are like 40 years old.
They are.
Everybody. And the reason, for the people who don't know, when you hire a younger person, a youth, I think 16 and younger, they have to have more school time.
And we have certain hours we can't, because I think we had like 8 hours or something.
Yeah, and which was nice for me because we wouldn't go that late with the show. I mean, when I was doing Jesse or the Friends show, would go into like 2, 3 in the morning when they were shooting. So it was nice that I had kids on the show I was doing because we would leave.
See, I remember being so frustrated because I was like, right when I felt like I was getting in my groove of things, they're like, and you're a pumpkin, go to school. Like it was.
They call that a pumpkin. You're turned into a pumpkin. I was directing an episode and they said to me, Jake has 2 more, at the end of the scene, we have 12 minutes until Jake turns into a pumpkin. And then I was like, do not cut. Let's roll. Action. I yelled action and no one was ready. I just was like, let's go, Well,
and it's also too, because like, I don't know. Because when did you start acting, Josh? How old were you when you started acting?
Professionally or as a kid, I was doing theater since I was 9, like community theater so locally, but I moved to Los Angeles to pursue it professionally at age 21. So I was here for the 2.5 years when Wizards came about. And of the extras, I remember some very inappropriate, and I don't even know if
central casting can be a little sketchy sometimes.
Tell us what happened.
Well, inappropriate in the sense that it was in wizard school and it was before a scene, and there was a guy just wanting to ask questions like, how do you get a role? How do you do this? And I want to be the nicest person and answer everyone, but I'm thinking about my lines I'm about to do and my blocking. I have to walk here. And then I'm kind of realized, wait, I don't want to be short. And I'm just trying to concentrate on my lines. So then he went over and he started asking Selena, and I could tell that she was polite. And then I felt, I don't know if the term is jumping on a grenade. I was like, okay, Selena has a lot more to do than I do. So I'm going to give this guy my attention. But it's like, eventually I wish he would stop talking. I wish he realized it's not the right time. Let's do it after the scene is wrapped, after the scene is cut. And it's like, you don't want to be a jerk and like, oh, the actors wouldn't talk to the extras.
Well, but I mean, there's a difference between, and you and I know this now, but also too, when you're younger, I feel like there's more pressure to like be liked and make sure that you're not pissing anybody off and that whole thing. But I think about it now and I'm like, well, there's nothing wrong after you've spoken a little bit to somebody to go, hey, you know what? I'm really enjoying talking to you, but like, I really have to focus on what I'm doing.
Yeah.
You know, and if somebody has a problem with that.
Fucking ass. We can say it's the worst. I am very nice. I'm a nice person. But if you're about to do a crime scene
it's true.
and someone's like, hey, Mr. DeLuise, how did you get into the business? And I'm like, I'm plucking nose hairs to try to get tears going. Like, leave me alone, you know?
But I'm just laughing because I'm like, so all like you just say, hey, it's been lovely talking to you. And you're like, you're a pain in my fucking ass.
Well, no, I didn't say that to them. But I heard this. I don't know if it's true or not, but Robert De Niro and Sean Penn were doing the movie We're No Angels. And apparently, someone who worked on the film said if an extra or anyone for that matter made eye contact with them, talking, they would get fired.
Well, you know,
because it was like they're focusing, they're working, leave them alone.
I've heard that about Leonardo DiCaprio, that he has a don't look at me unless we're rolling. Which is awful. Like, I'm sorry, that's so awful.
I agree. It is a way, and I'm not saying, the getting fired thing is ridiculous, but the allowing that person to focus on their, can you imagine the Revenant? He's about to get eaten by a bear. Hey, so, Leonardo, were you on Silver Spoons? What was that show? Growing Pains? What, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't
there should be an unheard of, like, 15 minutes prior to action.
Yes, and listen, I'm not comparing myself to those actors. I am not in that zone, but we all have a job to do, and I want to do the job the best we can.
Everybody wants to do a good job, and I think I mean, to play devil's advocate too, it's hard to know what that pressure is, or like how that whole like
until you're in there.
Until you're in it. So if you're someone who's only been an extra, because I was an extra and like did all that stuff, and I think back to it because I think I was an extra on like Spy Kids 3, which is hilarious because I ended up working with like Emily and
who did
Daryl.
The show? Yeah, Daryl, right.
But yeah, I remember talking to them being like, let's go play games, and they're like, fuck off, I'm working. You know what I mean? But like, I was a kid, I didn't know, and to me it was just other kids.
But we learned. Yeah. Josh, what was your favorite moment or experience from the show? Anything else happen? Any other people you worked with that you loved?
I'm so grateful for that I had the experience to be on season 1 before the show ever aired. And then the show is a huge success, and I come back for season 2. And you wonder, is anyone going to be, is there going to be a diva? Everyone was as delightful and as kind and as welcoming on this now hit show. I cannot say the same thing about other shows I've been on.
Well, I appreciate you saying that, because that means a lot to me that we had that kind of environment.
I wish I had the same experience. The second season, everybody was an asshole to me. It was so weird.
I stopped talking to you for sure.
The worst. No, listen. And Jake actually, we all had a dinner a few years ago, and Jake came up to me and was like, I had no idea how wonderful the group was, the experience.
I don't think any of us. I mean, some of us did.
I knew. I was old enough.
I'm saying the kids that like we hadn't been on a show before.
Right, of course. And if nothing else, not realizing it, but experiencing it was wonderful. But I had been a recurring on Third Rock from the Sun. And that was a wonderful experience. I had been on many other shows that were terrible.
No, there's some of you come in and you can tell you are a guest. You don't talk to,
and typically, I don't know if you've heard this, Josh, but usually there's always one. You know what I mean? Like if the joke is there's always one. Jane Curtin told me this, that there's always one person that's a pain in the ass, and if you don't know who it is,
it's you.
It's you, right?
Hey. Yeah, and I just feel so happy that when people ask, "Hey, what's Selena Gomez like?" Because she's a huge star. She's amazing. You're so nice. And
does anybody ask you about me, Josh?
That about every show.
Does anybody say, "What's it like working with David DeLuise"? No.
They don't. They just care about the young ones. I know. I appreciate you.
Youths. No, listen, if I had a nickel, every time someone asked me about Selena, because she became one of the
my
most
favorite,
famous people.
My favorite question is, have you met her?
I'm
like, no.
I'm like going to say that.
I'm like, no. They digitally composited me into all the scenes. It was all green screen.
Jen,
this is something that we do on the show, and I want to let you know that we do the crystal ball asking a question segment here. There's my magic wand.
Can you tell he loves this wand?
I do. And Jen is going to pick out a question for you.
I'm very excited.
There you go, Jen.
I did a little excited shimmy. They're all sticking together.
All right, here we go.
Okay, if there was only one song that you could listen to till the end of time, which song would that be?
And I'm not just saying this because of David. This is always my answer. It's Rainbow Connection.
Really? That's a great song.
Was
from
the Muppet movie with Dom DeLuise.
Yeah, he was the opener. He was in the opener. He's the one who sent Kermit on to Hollywood
on his journey, and that's one of my favorite movies. And it's I'm a huge Muppet fan, and I think it's a great inspirational song. I did cryotherapy recently, and when you go in the cryo chamber, they ask, "What song do you want to listen to?" And I choose Rainbow Connection. And I don't realize how freezing I am.
No, because that's such a warm song.
Yeah.
Like that song warms your heart. Not to be cheesy, but to be,
really sweet. I was there that day on the set, by the way, and what I remember really vividly, Jim Henson was in a log underneath, working because they were in a swamp.
Yeah.
And he was working the puppet, and my brother Michael pushed me in the swamp, and I had to change my clothes, and that's what I remember. I
embarrassed you in front of Jim Henson.
Yeah. I'm going to pretend to ask this question, okay? Hold on. God. If your life was made into a movie, who would you want to play you?
Well, can I do private parts that Howard Stern got to play himself?
Oh my God, you can't. Okay, not you. You can't choose you.
Okay, but I feel like who could play Josh?
Exactly.
Josh is like
this
one
is
in a
the
million.
question.
Okay, all right.
Well, okay, I'd like to wait till I'm older, I guess, because right now, I was going to say Leonardo DiCaprio until I heard he doesn't let people look at him.
Yeah, totally.
He's an amazing actor.
The set of your biopic will be very uncomfortable, but it'll turn out great.
Okay, one more question here, and I'm going to pick it, but then you can read it, okay?
Are you always honest with yourself?
I'd like to think so.
He's being honest with himself now.
Why do they lie to me?
People lie to themselves all the time. Ask my exes.
You know what? I have to say, as you were asking that question, I was like, of course he is. You are an open book. You are yourself. You are a genuine human being. So I'm going to answer the question for Josh. Yes.
Yeah, I feel like of all the people that I've met, you would be one of the people that I'm like, oh yeah, Josh is just a generally honest, genuine person.
Yeah, and we heart you very much. Look, this is us hearting you. We're making the heart sign.
I feel so Gen Z. Like do this. I don't know why.
I feel so old.
Never mind. I'll hold on to whatever I can get.
People always ask me, is there any chance that the show will ever come back? I don't know. That would be cool. I tell them, is there any hope? Could I hold on to hope that one day these people could be happy?
Well, listen. You could be happy. Oh,
I can't promise that, but
well, listen, I would do it. I would do it in a heartbeat. I would love to do that. And we I've seen an article where Selena was asked that question, and she actually responded with 1,000%. She would. Yeah,
I know David. I know Selena. I know Maria. They would all say yes. Yeah, it's just a matter, honestly. This is what I tell people. It's a matter of it's been this long. We got to have the right story. Because what a bummer would it be if after all this time we just threw something together?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to. The last thing we did, which was the reunion, Alex versus Alex,
which wasn't really one.
That's my process on it.
Well, we did our best.
People who are just listening, that was my mouth. That was not actual fart.
No, it was his anus for sure.
But yes, I hope that happens. And the real bottom line is, if Selena wanted to do it, then we would.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because she is in control and in charge. Josh, you have a bonus thing you wanted to add. What is that?
Okay, well, I had a dream week as an actor. As an actor, during 1 week, I got to work on Glee and Wizards in the same week. So two very different things. Creepy on Glee and then innocent Hugh Normous. And I had way more fun on Wizards. And mainly just because the people, it was all about everyone, and it's a much different, I mean, Glee's a great show too, but the friendliness. Wizards felt like family, from everyone in front of the camera and behind the camera. And whenever people would ask which show do you like better, and Wizards is the easy answer.
Like I said, that means a lot, Josh.
Even though Glee paid a lot more.
Well, that's the network money,
we know.
Baby.
Wait, you ready? Disney. They really don't pay. They're very good at not paying you, but whatever.
But you get a lot else out of it.
Yeah, you get a residual.
Don't hit me, Mickey.
But you get not money in a residual, but you get the residual aspect of being on that show. But I got other jobs, I think, because of
and that's in negotiations. What they also tell you.
Yeah. Disney. Josh, we love you. We think you're amazing. Thank you so much for coming by and sharing your awesomeness with us. And we will be talking to you soon.
I loved it. Thank you so much.
Love you, brother.
Love you.
Bye, Josh.
Bye.
Enjoy New Jersey.
Thank you. Good to see you guys.
You too.
Good to see you too, Josh.
Thank you so much for watching this episode of Wizards of Waverly Pod. And if you want to watch clips from the pod, then go to Podco YouTube channel. The link is in the description. Oh, and if you want to join our Patreon, the link is in the description for that too. You get exclusive weekly bonus content. Exclusive. All right, see you next week.